Good morning, all of you. So, I hope you're all doing good. So, today we are going to discuss about a poem. So, I hope you're all aware about Mahakavi Subramania Bharati, right? So, he was a freedom fighter and he was born and brought up in India, especially Tamil Nadu. So, he was born in Theivaram. So, we all know that he was, very vigorously writing poems in Tamil language to make the people of Tamil Nadu to make them involved in the freedom struggle. ஸோ எப்படி சொல்லணும் நம்ம தமிழில் அவர் வந்து தமிழ் போயட் தான். ஸோ திஸ் போம் டுடே we are going to discuss is a patch of land. It was written by Subramania Bharati. You all might be wondering, he never wrote in English. Why are you saying that he's wrote a poem in Tamil? So obviously it's a translation. ஸோ மகாகவி சுப்ரமணிய பாரதியார் தமிழில் எழுதின ஒரு போம் தான் காணி நிலம் வேண்டும். அதை இங்கிலீஷில் ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்ணி we have a patch of land. So today we are going to discuss about this poem, a patch of land. So from the name itself, you all must be thinking, a patch of land, adin a patch of land. So a patch of land is nothing but, as I told you, the Tamil is Kani Nilam Vendum. So even though a person might have, earned or respect, everything in his life, whatever he wants, money or something, but always in the, at the bottom of the heart, a person always wants a land for himself. So we all must have seen many movie references or even in so many novels and things. So we see people earning for their own land. So that is there in everyone's heart. So we all need a patch of land or a land for ourselves. Similarly, in this poem, the poet, that is Subramania Bharati, he is expressing the patch of land, a want for a man's patch of land in this poem. This poem usually talks about the overarching theme in this poem is nothing but a person's wishes to have a patch of land, a land for himself, whatever that the person might have earned in his life. So he needs a land for himself. That is the major theme that is relying, that the predominant theme of this poem is a man's want to have a land for himself. So Mahakavi Subramania Bharati, so he was born on he was born on December 11, 1882. So his profession was, he was an Indian writer, a poet, a journalist, a teacher, an independence activist, social reformer and polyglot. So the titles that we have given to him was Bharati or Bharatiyar. So he was also referred to as Mahakavi Bharati. That means a great poet. So the contributions that he has done to is he was the pioneer of modern Tamil poetry and composer of patriotic songs during the Indian independence movement. He has published so many, rigorously written so many Tamil poems to inspire the patriotic feel in the audiences of Tamil Nadu. Social reforms: fought for women's emancipation, opposed child marriage and the caste system, advocated for social and religious reforms. So we all must aware that he was major figure who fought in this women's emancipation and opposed the child marriage, and he also supported this abolishment of sati system and everything, and the caste system, and advocated for the social and religious reforms in Tamil Nadu. So the early life of Subramania Bharati was, he was born in Theivaram, that is in Tamil Nadu, and he was educated in Tirunelveli. So the influence, he lived in Varanasi, was influenced by Hindu theology. So Varanasi, that is near to the Kasi place, so that has the more of Hindu theology, this feel of a great theological feel, and considered Sister Nivedita a disciple of Swami Vivekananda, his guru. So Subramania Bharati considered the sister of Vivekananda as a disciple for himself. So now we are done with the poet's introduction. Now let's move on to the poem introduction. So A Patch of Land is a deeply impactful poem and a thought-provoking poem written by the celebrated Tamil poet and the nationalist Subramania Bharati. So he was a well-known, renowned poet of Tamil Nadu who lived and who brought laurels to Tamil Nadu. So in this poem, Bharati underscores the immense significance of even the smallest piece of land, particularly in the context of a country's relentless struggle for independence and self-determination. He vividly portrays land as a powerful and enduring symbol of hope, unity, and the collective aspirations of people striving for freedom from oppression. So he believes that when a person owns a land, he believes that he has at least a thing for himself. So which means that if a person holds a land, he has the self-confidence, the self-esteem must be higher, and he thinks that the self-determination will automatically come if a poet owns a land, if a man owns a land for himself. Through his evocative and inspiring verses, Bharati passionately urges individuals to recognize, cherish and protect the homeland with unwavering love, devotion and a sense of responsibility. So through the evoking and inspiring verses, so the verses of Bharatiyar shows the cherished and the protect, how one should support in cherishing their homeland, the mother tongue and everything. The poem, now let's move on to read the poem lines first. So we have completed the poet's introduction and the poem introduction. Now let's move on to reciting the poem lines. A patch of land do I need, O Parashakti, A patch of land do I need, and there, with lovely decorated pillars, good alcoves, with pure coloured, and in that piece of land, a bungalow must be constructed for me, and there beside the well, a coconut tree bough that bears tender coconuts. So in the first stanza of the poem, Mahakavi Bharatiya, automatically, obviously every poet who's trying to write a poem, they'll obviously invoke a goddesses or a muse or a god first. So precisely even Mahakavi Bharatiya is doing the same thing here. So he's invoking the goddess of power. So Parashakti is a goddess of power. He's invoking the Parashakti, the goddess here. A patch of land do I need, O Parashakti. A patch of land do I need, and there. So he's invoking the goddess Parashakti, and he's saying, I need a patch of land with lovely decorated pillars, good alcoves, with pure holy coloured, and in that piece of land, a bungalow must be constructed for me, and there beside the well, a coconut tree bough that bears tender coconuts. So he's saying, I want a patch of land, and in that land, with lovely decorated pillars and good alcoves. Not only he's asking for a patch of land, he's saying, I want a patch of land. In that land, I want this lovely house built for me with lovely decorated pillars and with the good houses there, with pure coloured. And in that piece of land, a bungalow must be constructed for me. So in that land, he wants a bungalow constructed for himself, and there beside that bungalow, there should be a well there with the coconut tree, with the boughs there, which bears tender coconuts. So in the first stanza is invoking the goddess Parashakti here, and is asking he needs a patch of land for himself, and in the patch of land he needs a house constructed for himself, and in the house, which is kind of a bungalow, beside that there should be a well, and near that well there should be a coconut tree bough that should bear tender coconuts there. Next stanza. A dozen or 10 coconut trees nearby do I need. A pleasant beaming of pearl-like rays from the moonlight must be descended, and there the cooing song of cuckoo must reach my ears, and my soul must be pleasure filled, a gentle breeze must be blown. So in the second stanza, he's continuing the similar theme in the second stanza as well. He's saying the last stanza, the last couplet, he mentioned that he needs land for himself, and then in the last stanza, in last two lines, he mentioned that he needs a coconut tree which bears a tender coconuts there, and in the second stanza, in the first two lines, he's mentioning that that coconut tree should have at least dozen or 10 coconut trees nearby. So beside his house, he should have a well there, and beside that well, there should be 10 to 12 coconut trees at least nearby. Beaming a pearl-like rays from the moonlight must be descended, and there the cooing song of cuckoo must reach my ears. So obviously when there are trees, we'll see the moonlight and sunlight, everything descending from that trees. So when we see a forest, there are lights. If it is a dense forest, we'll see the rays of sun or the moonlight descends through that leaves and the gaps and everything. So similarly, he's saying that he wants a house, and next to house he wants a 10 to 12 coconut trees at least, and midst of that coconut trees, the moonlight should descend from those trees leaves. The cooing song of cuckoo must reach my ears, and my soul must be pleasure filled, a gentle breeze must be blown. So he needs to hear a cooing sound of cuckoo there. So every morning, a man usually wishes to settle in a quiet, peaceful life in a countryside or something, having a family, having a small house for himself with the greenery, nature and everything. No? Similarly, the poet himself, the speaker also wishes to have a home there, along with the coconut trees there, along with the moonlight descending from that place. Beside that house, there should be a well and everything. And now he wants to hear a sound of a cuckoo singing every morning, reaching through his ears, which should, his heart should be filled with pleasure there. My soul must be pleasure filled, a gentle breeze must be blown. With the blend of the song, music, there, a woman of chastity do need. In our mirth of togetherness, verses must be flown freely, and in that open land, oh dear mother, the presence must guard us, and with my poetic skills, this world must be well cared. So in the last stanza, he's talking about so in the first two stanzas, he has already mentioned that he need a house, and beside this house, he needs 10 to 12 coconut trees, and beside the trees, there should be a well, and there should be a moonlight descending from that, and there should be a kind of cuckoo singing there, and he should be listening to all this, with his soul should be filled with pleasure and everything. And in the final stanza, he mentioned that with the blend of the song, music, there a woman of chastity do need, and our mirth of togetherness. So in the first couplet of the last stanza, he's mentioning that with the blend of song, music and everything, this place is very happy, filled with a happy home there in a patch of land. Everything is there. So he has almost everything that a man has to be happy in his entire lifetime. Now he needs a woman of chastity do need in our mirth of togetherness. So now, after having all those things, he's asking for a wife, a young wife, a woman of chastity, to be with him, to enjoy the happiness, to enjoy the together, to have a wife with him, to enjoy all this happiness to the fullest in their lifetime. Verses must be flown freely, and in that open land, oh dear mother, thy presence must goddess, and with my poetic skills, this world must be well cared. So after having all those things, after having a house in the patch of land and having a well-built trees next to the house, having a well over there, and a cuckoo's singing every morning, filling his heart with pleasure, and the moonlight listening from those trees, and having a wife for himself, and living a life to the happiest, now he's telling again the goddess of power, Parashakti, to give him with the poetry skills, to bless him with the poetic skills, and so that world must be well cared about him. In the sense, now that he's happy, he's everything in his life, now he wants a poetic skills. Now he wants the goddess to invoke the poetic skills to him, so that the world must be well cared of. So he wants to write poetry, to continue writing poetry, and to fill the people, to take a happy in reading his poetry, and to again give them a patriotic feel about the nation and everything. So this is the poem is all about. So as we have seen, the major themes of this poem is about how a man needs a land for himself. Even a man has everything, one should own his own land. The poem summary. We have seen the poet introduction and the poem's introduction, and we have read the poems, and I've already discussed the lines each and every line. But now we'll see a poem summary. The poem's essence, a patch of land by Subramania Bharati, highlights the importance of owning and cultivating even a small piece of land. Even a man should have a small piece of land for himself. That in itself will give him a happiness. Connection to nature. The poet describes the beauty of nature, portraying land as a source of life, prosperity, and self-reliance. So connection to the nature. He's not only asking for a patch of land and a house there. He needs at least 10 to 12 coconut trees there. He needs cuckoos singing every morning. He needs to have this moonlight descending and everywhere. So all these shows that he has a deep connection to the nature. Message of self-sufficiency. Bharati encourages people to work hard, use their land wisely, and not to depend on others for survival. So this shows a tree or a forest or a cultivation of yield and everything. It just not only gives us a peace of mind or something, it gives us some yield. We all must get something from those. Even if it is a coconut tree, we'll get a tender coconuts there, and we'll have so many things from a tree. A tree will benefit us in so many ways. So it's telling a message of self-sufficiency. Having a own house and having a trees for himself, it shows a kind of self-sufficiency in this today's world. Nationalistic spirit. The poem reflects Bharati's patriotic views, linking land to the nation's strength and independence. So it is also shows the nationalistic spirit here. The poem reflects Bharati's patriotic views. So he is not only asking for all these things, but the end of the poem, the last 2 lines, this couplet, shows that he wants goddess Parashakti to give him the poetic skills so that he can continue inspiring people. Call to action. He urges individuals to value land, protect it, and use it as a means of empowerment. So this entire poem, the major overarching predominant theme that he was focusing again and again is that he's urging the individuals to value land, to not just sell those land, or to not just belittle the ones who are owning land. So he urges the individuals to value land, to protect it, and to use it as a means of empowerment. Once a man holds land, he has this kind of self-dignity, and all those things will come automatically. Themes. The themes of this poem are self-reliance and hard work, patriotism and freedom, nature and prosperity, dignity and labor. So the symbols mentioned in this poems are a patch of land symbolizes self-sufficiency, independence, and the potential for growth. A patch of land, it not only shows that in that land you can do whatever things like building a house or growing trees or something, but it just symbolizes a self-sufficiency. Once you own a land, once you own a property of your own, you can be independent. You cannot rely on other people. So, nature's elements, trees, rivers, crops, represent life, sustenance, and the harmony between humans and the environment. Hands working the soil, a symbol of dignity in labor and the value of hard work in shaping one's destiny. So, I thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I hope you all understood what this entire poem of Subramania Bharati was all about. Thank you all.